gentlemen, boys, and girls. So I get a question every once, well, actually quite a bit actually, and they keep asking me, Tank and Trucker, what's your favorite tank in the game? Well, by far I gotta say it's the M103. Hands down, at Tier 9, the M103, Tier 10, the M103 is still one of my more favorite tanks. I mean, I'm obviously not a Tier 10, but out of tier 10, 9, and 8, I gotta say the M103 is probably my favorite tank. Reason I like it the most is because it doesn't excel in any certain particular area. I mean, the gun's got all right pen, same gun that's on the T110E5, just a little bit slower load time. It's not a race car. Top speed isn't like 65, 70. It's about 36 kilometers an hour. You get around 35 pretty steady on a straightaway. So, I mean, it's not super fast. It doesn't traverse really fast. It doesn't traverse super fast. It's just an all-around, it's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. It's like a box of tools. It's got decent to pretty good armor, to really good turret armor. Most nines and definitely eights and anything lower than a eight or lower have a lot of trouble penning the turret on this, just because it's got real good slope, and it's got a decent reload. Unfortunately, right here I had a heat shell loaded, so I knew not to shoot until that door was taken out, or my shell would have just basically hit the door and been petered out. Because once it hits that door, spaced armor basically. Crappy shot on my part. IS-6, there's an APCR in my lower plate. Lower plate on any tank, you got a weak spot there. Type 59 gets a nice shot into my lower plate too. So if you can get hauled down on this, and it's got 10 degrees of gun depression, so it's got really good gun depression. And if you can get hauled down on this, the turret on this is hard to pen. But it hits for a good chunk of change. It's got a pretty heavy hitting gun. I mean, it's just like, to me, it's like your Swiss Army knife of tanks. It doesn't excel in any particular area. It's just an all-around tank that's good in most every area. I mean, it's got decent to good acceleration, decent to good speed, decent, pretty good gun. If you have to switch over to your heat shells, you're going to be able to pen pretty much any tier 10 in the game. Like I said, same gun that's on the T110E5, so it bumps up your penetration if you can hit the target. Unfortunately, I was trying to take shots and get backed up before I got plugged by one. I got IS-6 on my left and one on the right there, so I was trying to take a shot and get back as quick as I could, without... as soon as I took a shot, that one on the left would pop out and try getting a shot on me. So, but like I said, it's kind of like the Swiss Army knife of tanks. It's just good all around in pretty much every area. It doesn't excel super in anything. It's just an all-around great tank in every area, or good tank in every area. It doesn't really have any downfalls that I can think of. I mean, the commander's hatch sticks up a little bit, but it's still, not the easiest thing to pen. If you stop and look, it bumps up a little bit. You see it right there. But when you're back here, see, let the smoke clear. A lot of people don't even see it because that machine gun sets right on top of it and kind of in front of it, so they don't think to shoot at it. And you can see where they're hitting me in the lower plate and penning. I mean, I bounced a lower plate shell. That was from one of the IS-6s. So 217, he wasn't able to pen it there, but he did pen it here. Really depends. When you shoot these things, you want to shoot them right around those tow hooks. Like, you could see that's exactly where he pretty much hit it there. Over here, he hit it up high and to the left, pretty thick area. Now, if he would have hit it right to the right, same probably distance height, but right over, right underneath that tow hook, he probably would have penned it. That's kind of the weak area on both this and the T110E5, or up in here by the drive wheel. Pretty much any tank that's up in that area, right there, right around the tow hooks, or real low on this lower plate. But it's just, I love this tank. I do exceptionally well in it. I usually do right around anywhere from 3 to 6, 7,000 damage in it pretty much almost every match. On the low end, I still usually manage to squeeze out maybe 2,000 if it's a bad game where I don't get a lot of damage out. But I almost missed this, what was that, a T-54? Was that a lightweight that I just hit? That thing was moving so damn fast, I almost missed them. Yeah, lightweight. They come booking in there so darn fast, I almost completely missed them. But you can see, I mean, it gets right up to its top speed, and it maintains it. You hit a hill, it does slow down a little bit, but obviously any tank that goes up a hill is going to slow down a little bit. But I mean, so we're doing 32, 33, and we're hitting this hill right now. We're still staying right up around 28 to 30, 25, 25, 26, and it's right back up to 30. So, I mean, it's got enough horsepower, and it's got a good, you know, power per ton weight ratio that it's able to get up to that speed and maintain it. And, you know, this is probably why this is probably one of my favorite tanks in the game. By far, I gotta say it, between any tank in the game, the M103 is probably hands down my favorite tank. You know, between the armor, you know, penetration, you know, just everything about it I like. If I had to pick, I'd say my top, hands down favorite tank in the game, probably say Moss. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for the Moss. It's always been my favorite tank. Got a bunch of matches in it. I do super in it. You know, it's a really good tank, fun to play, unless you get one huge open map, and you know, then it kind of sucks because in you know, 2 arties, 3 arties, they drop, you know, rounds on your head. But the mistake I made here is I was going up the hill. I should have kind of cut down the hill sooner. But that T-30 just had a hard on for me, so the IS-3 is able to sit there and put rounds in them, and I was able to sit there and put rounds in them. So yeah, he got one shot into my side, but not to worry, it happens, and we're still alive. 243 hit points, blocked a little over 1,000 damage. Did 4,192 damage. So yeah, I really like this tank a lot. So if you want to hold on for a minute, I'll have some post-game stats for you, so I'll be right back. So here we have the results of that match with my M103. Like I said, this is probably, I'd say it's definitely my favorite Tier 9, if not one of my favorite tanks in the game. It's got the same gun as the T110E5, a little bit slower load time, but same penetration and everything. Great armor. I love the armor on this. Your frontal armor on your hull is 228 in the front, and on your turret's 254. So even though it's a Tier 9, it's still pretty heavily armored in the front. So compare it to the T110E5, 254 on the hull and 203 on the turret. So your turret's stronger on this, really well sloped. If they aim, pretty much try and hit anything up here unless they hit that commander's hatch right behind the machine gun right there. They'll have a hell of a time trying to pen this thing. It's really well sloped, angled. You can see it's got a real good dip to it, so a lot of times they'll shoot right here and just bounces right off. They'll try hitting your sides, and it's really well angled on this side, or on both sides obviously, but on the sides there, so a lot of times they'll aim, try and put it in your cheeks, and it just bounces right off. If you can get hauled down on this thing, it's a beast. Obviously the T110E5, it's got a lower profile turret. It's more rounded, kind of like your M48 Patton turret in a way. The only weak spot it had is this commander's hatch, which still really is not that weak. That's why it can have a lower frontal turret armor, but still be a strong turret. Your hull on the front of this, I mean, 228, that's still pretty damn good. Tier 7s, they can forget. I mean, even premium rounds, they'll have probably no luck at pen in the front of this. Tier 8s, you saw the IS-6s and stuff, 217 pen with their premium rounds, and that was the only way they were able to pen the front of this. I didn't see if he hit me more through my drive wheel or if he hit me in the lower plate. I'll have to really pay attention there. But no, this is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite tank in the game. It's kind of like the T110E5 in a way. It's an all-around. It's not super strong in one area. It doesn't have a devastating gun that does, you know, 750 to 1,000 some damage. It's not a race car. It's not the fastest tank in the world. It doesn't have the best super armor in the world. But all in all, it's got good everything. It's got good speed, good gun, good frontal armor. It's got good traverse. Turret traverse is good. It's just an all-around good tank. But anyway, so that was the first class, Master Badge first class, fire for effect, fighter, duelist, hand to God, survived and won the battle having damage from at least 4 different enemy vehicles. Bruiser, yeah, so we hit that T30 in the end there twice for 807, T54 lightweight, got him for 328, finished him off, hit the FCM 50T 3 times for 1077, IS6 hit him twice for 817, other IS6 for 667 finished him off, and the T2064 Super Persian hit him twice and finished him off. And if you watched a video that I put out actually, I think I'm going to do it. I haven't put it out yet. I'm going to either do this one first or the other one. You'll see where when that Super Pershing presented itself at the end of the battle, obviously I've got heat shells for my premium round. I didn't even waste shooting a heat round at it, because if I would have shot that front of the Super Pershing pretty much anywhere other than if I could have hit the weak spot up on that, it's like the commander's hatch behind the lift for the turret on the maybe the passenger side, the left side. If I would hit the plate, lower plate, or actually even the upper plate on the Super Pershing with a heat round, or that basically spaced armor around the turret up there on the Super Pershing, it would have just petered out. It would have done nothing. I'd have bounced off. He'd have bounced those shells all day long. But I like to shoot AP as much as possible, because obviously you make credits. And with those AP rounds, went right through them like butter. Even the spaced armor, I was able to pen through the first layer of armor and then go through the second, which that's why it's called spaced armor, and pen them, and we were able to do it twice and finish them off. Bounced a couple rounds, bounced 2 from an IS-6 for 780, and bounced 1 from the Super Pershing for 240. Looks like we originally spotted one IS-6, and then we spotted him again. Well, when we spotted him, somebody hit him for 193. So we got first place in damage with 4,192, 4 kills, and a base experience of 1,212. That's pretty good, not bad. We had 17 shots, 14 hit, 12 pen. Total damage was 4,192. We got hit 7 times, 4 pen, 3 bounce, so we bounced 1,020. Spotted 1, damage 6, destroyed 4. Damage with our assistance was 193. Received 60,290 credits after they I did shoot, I think, 1, maybe 2 premium rounds. I think it was just 1. Once they repaired the vehicle, resupplied the ammo and consumables, we still made 3,231 credits. I mean, it's not a credit maker, but none of your tier 9s and 10s are. Your 9s and 10s are basically because you've worked up to that tier and they're fun to play. So our experience on the 5X was 12,726. And that went all for crew, because I've got accelerated crew training. Trying to get all my crews up as much as I can. I've got, I think, I've got almost 1 million experience. So when the new Chinese line comes out, I should probably have almost easily enough experience to research that whole line. And I'll probably buy, I'm thinking at least the 8, 9, and 10, maybe the 7. I saw a review of the Tier 7. I wasn't wholly impressed with it because it looked like it was pretty easily penned. The frontal armor. It reminds me of the Tier, is that a 9 or a 10? And the SU-122 44, that's a 10. If I can find it. I got all my tanks there. Yeah, got them all lit up there. Oh, maybe it's a 9. I thought it was a 10. Okay, let's see if we can find it now. SU-122 44. That's where. There it is. Reminds me a lot of this. Got a great gun. Same gun that's on the IS-8, but the frontal armor is 100 millimeters thick. It's not super sloped. It's got a great mantle, but as you can see on the sloping, if it were sloped back, I'd say kind of more like from the bottom here to this part at that angle, it'd bounce a whole heck of a lot more. But it's kind of flat, so pretty much everything pens you, and your front lower plate is easily penned too. Um, so yeah, this one, and I think the one that's the Tier 7 only has 80 or 90 frontal armor, so uh, it's Tier 7. If you see Tier 8s and 9s, which you probably will every match, they're easily going to pen you. These things are meant to sit in the back anyways and just kind of snipe and pick stuff off. Um, they're all right, but, just no armor. Everything just pens you. But anyways, so that was the Tier 9 M103. And I gotta say, that's probably, like I said, it's definitely my favorite Tier 9. It's a tough one. It's between that and my E75. I've got 1,267 battles in my E75, and I've got 674 in my M103, but obviously E75 has been in the game forever. Um, but yeah, I really like this tank a lot. Anyways, I think the next video I do will probably be my favorite tank in the game, and then I will do my most hated tank in the game. And if anybody, I did a review of the tank that is my most hated a while back, probably about 6, if not 8 months ago, maybe 8 months ago. And so if you watch that video, you'll know exactly which one I'm talking about. It's a British tank, and it is a Tier 7, I think. Got a good gun. Unfortunately, it has no dispersion. They're not dispersion. Um, drawing a blank here. How far you can take the gun left and right? Or gun arc. Duh. It has no gun arc. So every time you go to shoot at something, you got to move your gun, move your gun, move your gun. So basically, your bloom on your target reticles always stays huge, so you never hit anything unless you're point blank. But anyways, so you look forward to those coming out pretty soon. You guys take it easy, be safe, and I'll see you on the battlefield.